The power of the pivot, y'all. That's what we're talking about today in this video. So if you are struggling with looking for a new job right now, if you are in a career that you're like, holy shit, I don't know why I'm still in this, or if you are just looking to spice things up, this video is for you. So make sure you watch it fully, okay? We have to watch things till the end because you won't get the full story if you don't. So it's really important that you do that. So with that being said, want to hop into today's video. And before I do that, just want to remind you to make sure you subscribe, y'all. YouTube ain't gonna do nothing for me until you hit that subscribe button. And if you don't hit that subscribe button right now, I'm not gonna start talking. I'm just kidding. But it really does help support the channel when you guys interact and engage with the videos of your favorite creators here on YouTube. So not just me, everybody else. But with that being said, I'm gonna hop into today's video because y'all ain't here to hear me preaching at y'all about subscribing like that, okay? So I wanna talk about just how powerful the power of the pivot is and how it has helped me advance in my career into what I do now. Okay, so I'm gonna start off at the beginning. I went to school to be a journalist, y'all. That's right. I wanted to be the next Tom Brokaw, well, more like Lester Holt, honey, because I'm black. I wanted to be Lester Holt, y'all. Like, literally, like, hi, I'm Nick Hillary reporting live for KSLA News 12 in Shreveport. That was me, yo. I literally did it. I was a news reporter for like 7 or 8 months. And baby, when I tell you that it was a good job until it wasn't, it was a good job until it wasn't. Because at the end of the day, we are human, right? And when I say that, oh God, the shadow. We're human, right? And at the end of the day, we can only do so much with our power, right? Like that first job, they had me doing all kinds of stuff, y'all. Essentially, I was straight out of college, so I was only 22 years old. So I was very young, very young. And, you know, when you get some young buck in there, younger people can do a lot with a little bit of time. So they had me out there doing 5 stories a day, child. I was like, 5 stories a day when everybody else is just doing 1. Why am I doing 5? And then told I wasn't doing enough. I was falling through the cracks. Well, girl, you're making me do crazy things. And this was a black woman, actually, who was my boss there. Child, whatever. It don't matter what color skin people are. They gonna use you. It's truly, it don't matter no more. Like race is like, you know, sometimes they say, oh, you know, a sister or a brother is gonna help you out if they see one of them. No, everybody is out there for themselves. And that lady was out there for herself. And I quit. I said goodbye. Cause you're not finna abuse me anywhere. I won't take it. So I quit. And in my back pocket, I had a capstone class with with Jen Reeves at Mizzou. Yes, Mizzou. Which, child, they a mess too, child. They got so much racism going on over there too. So you can watch my channel. I've talked about them before here. But I had took a capstone class with her, and she was teaching us about social media. I was like, what is this social media thing? It's popping. Twitter at the time had just gotten started. Like, I was able to claim my username. Gmail had just started. I sound old as hell. I mean, I am, but I sound like those, you know, like those grandpas when they be like, when I was your age, we didn't have Gmail. Oh God, it's just funny to like start sounding like that. And we're only 40. Millennials, child, we've been through it. But anyways, so I had it in the back pocket that I liked social media. So I was like, that could be my next thing to try. But I couldn't do that in Louisiana. And at the time, that's where I was living. So I had to move, I had to get out of there. And LA was where all of the social media jobs seemingly were at that time. Because it was still new, y'all. So I was like, I gotta move to LA. And I wanted to move to LA. I had visited. I was like, ooh, this place is fun. Like, I'm young, I'm gay. Like, Hollywood was just like popping at that era. Like, that was the 2010s, the golden era of LA. LA is no longer the golden era, child. It is a mess, honey. Just like every other major. Well, I feel like New York and LA specifically are kind of a disaster right now. But I went when it was in the heyday. And I was able to pivot my career from broadcast journalism to social media. And how I did that was I started writing blogs for a food blog. I was like, ooh, I get to eat for free. And I get to sort of practice digital writing and blogging and getting into social media with this blog. So it's twofold. It's free labor, but it's not really free labor when you look at it because I'm investing in myself. Sometimes we have to do things for free when we want to invest in ourselves, but not be stupid. Okay, don't let people take advantage of you when you do things for free like that. And they didn't. Baby, I ate well. Boy, I ate well. Ooh, I would die for those meals again today. I ate well. And I was going to different hotels and staying at different hotels for free. Like the Montage, like we would stay at expensive hotels and just eat for free. We would go to Palm Springs and do a little foodie adventure. I was able to get that all sponsored. So it's doing things in life for yourself, sometimes for free, but making sure it's an investment in your future, okay? When you want to pivot, especially, sometimes that kind of stuff is necessary. So then, while doing that, I became the receptionist at Wheel of Fortune, which I was getting into entertainment. That's where I wanted to be. And while I was in that job, Queen Latifah was starting her new talk show the second time around. And I was like, ooh, I got to work for the Queen, honey. How do I do it? Well, you use LinkedIn to figure out who the hell is working on the show. And I was able to locate who my would-be boss would be, Jillian Sheldon. And I wrote her. I just contacted her. And she actually was mutuals with a couple of my friends, so I was able to connect to her that way. But, you know, you have to use your tools that you have exposure to build your career up. Or change your career and pivot it. And so, did an interview with her, child, right outside of Wheel of Fortune's office, honey. I was like, oh, this is awkward. But now that I'm looking back on it, like, I could have just been having a coffee meeting or a general meeting with somebody. Like, no shade. It's no big deal. Sometimes you just have to do shady things to get to where you want to be. And I don't even think that was that shady. At the end of the day, Wheel of Fortune folks were fine with it. I was there for like 2 years. So like, how long are you gonna be the receptionist, baby? Like, hello, this is Wheel of Fortune. Yes, that was me. Answering the phones every day. This one guy would call. I wonder if he's still alive. He would call every day. Every day. He would call multiple times a day just to talk to us. Like, very interesting. I think I can remember the number. 244-1234 maybe. I don't remember, actually. But yeah, so I was doing that job for a while. I feel like they probably don't even have a receptionist anymore. Not to answer the phone, because who's calling Wheel of Fortune like that? Nowadays, maybe people are calling. I don't know. Because a lot of older people watch that show, and that's the form of communication they use. So that's why we had it. Anyways, so I was working that job, baby, and then I got the job with Queen Latifah. And that was when my pivot into social media really started and really kicked off. Then that show unfortunately got canceled and ended. And I was able to secure a job at Buzzfeed. But again, Buzzfeed was the hottest thing around, right? So unfortunately, when you have a hot product like that, everybody wants to work there. But I was like, oh no, babes, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna get that job. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna get it good. So a friend of mine that was working there, well, actually, not even a friend. Thank you, Bryce Sander. He actually gave me some advice and said, hey, listen, if you want to work here, anyone can work here, but you need to start writing community articles for the website. And that's how they sort of interview people if your articles start getting pickup or whatever. So I was up at night because I was unemployed. I had no job. I had nothing to do. I was bored. I was so bored. But I knew this was my time to shine and to get in the door and pivot once again. And not saying pivot once again, but basically because BuzzFeed is completely different from like working in TV. It's more digital. And that's what things were moving towards at that time. YouTube was really starting to pick up. So I then, started writing articles, and some of my articles got over 1 million views, y'all, overnight. It was insane. I got a phone call a couple weeks into writing articles, and they were like, we want to interview you for this video curator position. I was like, what is that? Basically what I was doing, I was curating video and turning them into articles for the website, Buzzfeed.com. And they were getting massive hits. Like I had articles, probably 50 million views on some of them. Like it was crazy back in the day. So, oh, they fighting. Okay, wow. Oh, I don't know what's going on up there. So then I started working at BuzzFeed. Then Tasty comes along. That's my avenue to get back into social media. Because Tasty, the little food videos, child. It needed a full-fledged 24/7 social media person once it started getting big. So there I am going back into social media. Because the video curating job wasn't really directly a social media managerial type role. But I wanted to be in social media. My boss knew that at the time. Hey, Macy. And selected me to do that. And I did that for like 3 years. Child, then I was bored, child. I'm a Sagittarius. We like to mix things up. Not only bored, I was poor. BuzzFeed was not paying, child. And listen, I was probably one of the highest paid employees there at that time. I was making probably like $85,000 maybe at my highest there. But they would, for some reason, not give me $100K. So I had to go. I had to go find me $100K. And I was about 31 years old. And that's when I started making my first $100,000, y'all. I was making like 115 or 120. I moved to work at Viacom and MTV. Child, that job was a wash. I was there for a year. It was like a transitional job. I was there for like a year. And they wanted to basically turn Cribs into a new like lifestyle vertical. Typical Viacom, honey, they don't know what they're doing over there. Like literally, girl, what was going on? Truly, what was going on? It's like they had a lot of good ideas, and I also gave a lot of good ideas, but they fell on deaf ears. So whatever. Transitional job. As you saw in my other video about Tamron Hall, I use networking to network my way to get that role and pivot back into talk again. I was like, ooh, babes, I want to move to New York. Everyone should have a New York moment. And so I moved to New York for that role. And as y'all know what happened with that job, I'll put that video over here so you can watch it. I did get fired from that job, but if you watch that video, you'll understand why. It wasn't a bad thing. It's a good thing. And I look at all of my sort of progress in my career as not a regression, progression. There's a message in the madness, y'all. When we sort of fall on our feet, or fall on our backs, rather, we have to take that as repositioning, sort of realignment in our careers. It's a time where we can sort of look at what we're doing and say, do we like what we're doing? If we don't, we need to figure out why we don't like it and pivot into something that we do like. And so then I was seeing like all of this AI stuff come about. So I was like, let me get into tech. Got the job at Shutterstock in tech. And then, not gonna go into too much that happened there, but there was a lot of like racism and just crazy things happening with like my boss at the time. Like, she did this crazy thing where she just was like chaotic with directives all the time and then denied me of my bonus. I was like, oh, why am I getting denied of my bonus? If I'm doing the work, the numbers are all up, the metrics are all up, but then you deny me my bonus? Clearly racism. Because why? They couldn't give me a reason why. They truly could not. So it is what it is. Whatever. I moved on. I quit. And then I started my own business. It was time to finally step out on my own and do my own thing, which I did successfully for 2.5 years. And that led me to what I do now, which is talent management. And I absolutely love it, because at the end of the day, the thing I love the most about social media is building community and bringing people together. And that's what I do now with multiple different people and niches. And I'm able to tap into all the skills that I've developed over the years and bring that to the table for so many other people. And that, for me, that's rewarding, okay? So we have to do things that are rewarding in our lives. If you're in a role or a job that sucks, you hate it, you're complaining, you're falling in it, and you're not loving it, figure out a way to pivot out of it, because that ultimately is what you want. And I tell people all the time, like, when you're, in something that is miserable, there's no point in staying. Like, if you can quit, move on. Because at the end of the day, things are going to come to you that you deserve if you tell people what you want. I told my girlfriend Rosalie this. She has a business that does tie-dye and stuff like that. And she was working a job at a grocery store. Hope she doesn't mind me telling this. I'm sure she doesn't give a shit. She was working a job at a grocery store to pay the bills. And I said, quit that job. She quit, eventually quit. And now she's posting about her business and people are reacting to it. It's like when you are sort of in a sedentary thing, a thing that you sort of are comfortable in, like a job, but it's not exactly what you want to do, it's hard to direct people's attention to that thing that you really want people to be attentive to. So if you're in a role or a job that you hate, you're using all that energy to hate that job, when you could be using that energy to do something that you really love. Okay? So you have to redirect that energy and that inspiration to something that you really like to do. And I know it's hard, but at the end of the day, we have to make hard decisions and we have to take risks. You can't go through life, guys, without taking risks. So I hope this little 20-minute video of telling you a bit about my story sort of helps you. I want to help you though. So leave questions in the comments and I'm going to answer them in a future video about the power of the pivot, y'all. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. It'll help me out and help build the channel up. And click on that like button, y'all. Make sure you hit that like button. That sends the video to more people in the YouTube algorithm, which in turn also helps the channel's growth. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.